Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the ILEC International Webinar on Climate Change Impacts on Lakes and their Basins, Assessments and Observations from Lake Biwa, the Yodo River Basin, and the Global Perspective. We are delighted to have so many of you joining us online from different parts of the world. Thank you very much. Now let us begin the program. First, I would like to invite Dr. Kazuhiko Takemoto, President of International Lake Environment Committee Foundation, or ILEC, to deliver the opening remarks. Please welcome Dr. Takemoto.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind introduction. On behalf of ILEC, I am delighted to welcome you to this important webinar. As you have been aware, last December, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution on World Lake Day by designating August 27th and requested the UN member states and all stakeholders to observe this date by further developing their respective activities for sustainable lake management. The date of August 27th is designated to commemorate the day when the first World Lake Environment Conference was held in Shiga Prefecture in 1984. The World Lake Conference is a unique opportunity for all relevant stakeholders to get together from around the world every 2 years to work together for addressing their common issues toward sustainable lake management. This year, the 20th World Lake Conference will be hosted by Griffith University in late July in Brisbane, Australia. I would like to take this opportunity to express our special thanks to Professor David Hamilton of Griffith University for hosting this important World Lake Conference. As this is the first World Lake Conference after the adoption of the UN resolution, this year's conference is a special one and will be opened by high-level participants from the host states and neighboring countries. I would like to draw your attention to the following roadmap in front of us, namely, the World Lake Conference will be an important step for the first World Lake Day event to be held in New York on August 27th this year. And this World Lake Conference should be also the milestone toward the UN Water Conference to be held in UAE in December next year. As far as ILEC is concerned, we take this UN resolution as an epoch-making occasion to formulate our 5-year action plan by stepping up our activities, namely, first, scientific knowledge development, secondly, advocacy of sustainable lake management, and thirdly, capacity development. In this regard, we are fully committed to the forthcoming World Lake Conference to be organized in a successful manner. Toward this direction, today's webinar is designed to make World Lake Conference even more fruitful than ever before. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude my remarks by wishing you all a successful webinar with your active participation. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and once again, welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Takemoto, for your kind remarks. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Kenzo Hiroki, professor at the National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies and ILEC board member. Dr. Hiroki has been a leading figure in shaping global water policy over many years and has played a central role in promoting the establishment of World Lake Day. Dr. Hiroki, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moderator. So let me start my speech by giving a presentation. First of all, can you see this? Nobody say yes. Can you see? Okay.
OK です。OK です。
So today I'm going to talk about mainstream lakes in the global agenda for sustainable development and conservation of the lakes. First of all, we all agree that lakes are in crisis, but for more details, from the top to the bottom, from the glacier lakes, as you see, glaciers of the world has become thinner and thinner by 20 meters in the recent 35 years. But alarming thing is that compared with the 30 years back, the speed of the melting is 3 times faster recently. So that causes many glacial lake outbreak floods, which is called GLO. You can see that in Pakistan, in India, in other parts of the world. But also at the bottom, at the lagoons near the sea, this is, the double effect of the, climate change related heavy rains and also sea level rise. This is a contribution to sea level rise in the past 40 years. And then not only by the expansion of the surface water, but also glacier melt is becoming the major reason why sea level rise is happening. And this is one example that happened in Valencia, Spain, in the last September, October. And there's a heavy rain called Dana. That is the cold drop low pressure that is happening in the Mediterranean Sea. And as a result of that, as you see here in the right-hand graph, there's more than 40 meters of the rainfall in 10 minutes, not in 1 hour. So that is a very, very heavy rain. And the problem is that there's a lagoon at the back, at the bottom of the river. So the flood, caused by the Dana, had rushed into the sea, but actually it was stopped and backwatered by lagoon. This is the case. The left-hand side is a normal situation. The right-hand side is a flooding situation. You can see the brown area, which is lagoon. And at the same time, we are having the problem in the middle between the mountains and the sea. This is the case of the shrinking Aral Sea in 1977. There's North Lake and South Lake fully filled with water. But after that, it started rapidly to shrink. See, in 1986, 99, 2006, 2009, and 2013, the south part of the lake is almost gone. Why? First of all, this area has a very small precipitation. As you can see here, this area has a total area of 4 million square kilometers. But annual precipitation on average is around 400 millimeters. That is, the total precipitation is 1,000 cubic kilometers. Compared with Japan, for example, Japan is 1/10 of the in the area, but annual total annual precipitation is just 60% of the total rainfall of the area. So first is shortage of rain, but at the same time, this is the area of the grain belt for all the countries. Actually, 90% of the water is used for agriculture production. But the problematic thing is that according to the former Soviet Union policy, the cotton production was promoted. And as you can see here, compared with the water necessary for growing potato, it needs to have 100 times more water. to produce the unit kilograms of the product. And as a result of that, as you can see here in this area, in the past years, although the irrigated cultivating area is increasing steadily, the total farm production actually has declined because of the shortage of water, because of too much of the overproduction, and so forth. So as a result of that, this is a reduced discharge into the RC out of the 100% of the total rainfall in the watershed. By 1960s, 50 to 60% of the water has flown into RRC. But because of the overproduction and over-irrigation, in the 1970s and 1980s, only 5 to 10% of the total rainfall has fed into the RRC. That is the main, cause of the, shrinking RRC. So why? This is because unsustainable development of the watershed. So this is happening. This unsustainable water management is happening in all the lakes in the world. Actually, we have policies for each of the sectors. We have the power policy, environmental policies, hygiene policy, industrial policy, transportation policy, agriculture policy related to water and lakes. They have an optimum policy for each of the sectors, like power policy mission is the maximum production out of all the resources. But because of that, they are trying to make full use of available water without considering other sectors, other policies related to lakes and water. So lakes are pulled apart by non-coordinating policies of all the sectors. As a result of that, it was broken and into part. So we have to do the different way by converting the direction of the policy. Rather than lakes pulled apart, we have to make use of the lake as a policy center through integrated lake basin management. This is what we wanted to achieve. But why is this not happening? To address the crisis, we should mainstream lakes for greater awareness and remedial actions, meaning that we didn't have enough attention and much less actions for lakes. So mainstream lakes is our main objective. But here's the question, how? To mainstream lakes in global agenda, we have 4 key elements. That is message, targets, strategy, and symbolic action. Each of the items have their main question. For the message, what are the clear-cut messages to convince people, laymen, politicians, the criticality of the lakes for our future? 2, targets. What are our measurable targets to promote tangible actions by all for better lakes? And we need strategy. What do we do to reach consensus on the above, emanate the messages, and achieve the target by actions? And finally, symbolic actions. What actions do we propose to keep the torch of mainstreaming lakes high in the global agenda continuously? Let's take a look at it one by one. First, messages. Already, there are a lot of discussion and proposals, which are good ones. Like, this is the case of the Transported Water Assessment Program by UNEP and others. They say that lakes and other Atlantic water systems contain more than 90% of the liquid fresh water. So this is important. Lakes respond to environmental stresses in a slow incrementation, non-linear manner. There's a serious deficiency of lake-specific information and data. Lake management is often subsumed under river basin concerns. Accurately ranking transboundary lake threats require a detailed case-by-case assessment. Integrated water resource management does not adequately address lakes and other Atlantic water systems. They are all true. And then we are convinced. But Are these words really convincing the politicians, laymen, ordinary business people, and others? We have to do more. For messages, we need a title and slogan that is short and clear cut, easy to understand and convincing, and sexy and easy to remember. And we need an explanation to those messages. Very short background, justification, straight logics with convincing numbers, concrete proposal with what, who do what, by when, and succinct conclusion to make people understand what we want to say. So the messages has to be crystallized in Brisbane Declaration at the 20th World Lake Conference. Number 2, targets. We have already SDGs. Related to lakes, we have a target of water quality, which is not so good because some of the countries have declining quality of the water. And in terms of for example, biochemical oxygen demand, there are many countries, many water basins that are of the increasing trend of the BOD. In terms of aquatic ecosystems, total inland water areas, mainly lakes, are declining. And it is happening in all the regions. And as for the disasters, per capita number of the affected and economic loss is increasing. So despite good SDG targets and goodwill of the people to take actions, they are not in good numbers. But for lakes, there's additional problem. That is a missing link for us. There's no SDG target, particularly dedicated to lakes. So lakes are left behind. So we need a post-SDG lake target at least. That should be discussed at World Lake Conference 20. Number 3, strategy. We have to learn from other cases. The closest neighbor for us is the water. So learning from evolution of the global water process is important to review. This is evolution history of the global water agenda and process. There are UN agenda process in the center, starting from the UN Water Conference, the first one in Mar del Plata in 1977. And on the left hand, there are UN-related processes like UNESCO HP, water decays, UN water, and so forth for coordination and to take the supplementary role. And also on the right hand, there's a non-UN process that is not directly related to the United Nations, but closely associated, like in World Water Week, World Water Council, Global Water Partnership, World Water Forum, and so forth. So we should also have a dynamic and evolutionary lake process with appropriate scale and focus. For example, there's the evolution of the World Water Forum. At the beginning in 1997, the World Water Forum was a very small conference of 700 people by mainly scientists and engineers. But there's a quick evolution from there. In the Second World Water Forum, the ministerial conference was added, and then the number of the participants jumped from 700 to 6,000. And the Third World Water Forum has succeeded the trend to have the 3 tiers of the conference: ministerial conference, the thematic process, and high-level sessions. So as a result of that, again, the number of the participants jumped from 6,000 to 24,000. So each time the forum has new ideas and new processes that made the World Water Forum a major process, despite it is voluntary process. So taking a look at it, you have to position our lake process in the international processes. This is the schematic graph. The that positions each of the conference and then organizations. Horizontal axis is the size of the conference, like 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and then the y-axis, vertical axis, is the legitimacy. Is it legitimate enough, like the UN conference? And our World Rate Conference is in the middle. It is a middle scale conference. It is not the highest legitimacy because it is not a UN conference. But since this has continued for 20 times every 2 years, the history itself has raised its profile and its legitimacy. But World Rate Conference itself cannot make the things change, things happen. We have to have the collaboration with other processes like a UN General Assembly, World Water Forum, and high-level panel. So the collaboration is a key for the lakes to mainstream us. So for example, this is a proposed network of the lake-related processes to mainstream us. We have World Lake Conference as the main thrust, of our agenda. But we need to have a connection with the UN process and other related high-level groups, for example. So by having this triangle relationship, win-win processes, we can achieve our mainstream goal. So strategy to mainstream lakes. First of all, we have to raise political profile of the World Lake Conference by, for example, organizing a ministerial conference, LBM principles, and etc. And also, we can and we should create and link with the UN, other advisory bodies, for example, by establishing global high-level panel on lakes. And we have to feed messages, targets of the World Lake conferences by positioning our lakes in the, for example, UN 2026 water conference. And as the Chair Takemo said, we have to effectively use August 27th, or UN World Lake Day, every year to mainstream lakes. So the ILEC has proposed, as Mr. Takemoto said, the high-level opening plenary at the 20th World Lake Conference by inviting ministerial level participants from Fiji, from Indonesia, from Japan, and of course from state and federal governments of Australia. Finally, we already have a symbolic action, that is the World Lake Day. But you may wonder why this World Lake Day is important. But actually, the UN something day or year is very effective and influential. This is the case of the International Sanitation Year in 2008. Actually, this year has enabled mobilization of over 500 million people. And in this year, even some countries, legislation, like even constitution, has been changed to include sanitation in their constitutional items. And also in some countries, ODA, development assistance for sanitation, was increased by few times, like 5 times, even 6, 7 times. So this is the impact of the international something by the United Nations. So a lucky thing is that we could have the adoption unanimously at the General Assembly of the United Nations World Lake Day. This is what happened. This was conceived in 2018 in Ibaraki in the World Lake Conference 17. And actually, the process started in 2022. As after UNEA said that this World Lake Day should be discussed and addressed not in UNEA but in the UN General Assembly. And we thank Indonesia, the country of Indonesia, to keep the torch and push this World Lake Day to the arena of the General Assembly. The ILEC and high-level expert leaders panel on water and disaster have cooperated very closely to help Indonesia and other member states to come to the main stage of the General Assembly. By, for example, making use of World Water Forum, the Abandoned Split Water Summit, and so forth. And after the high-level UN Special Water high-level event for the World Lake Day in September last year, the momentum has increased to come to the conclusion of the December 12th in New York in the UN headquarters. So as Mr. Takemoto said, UN General Assembly decided to designate 27 August as the World and invite all state members to observe the day in appropriate manner through activities and education awareness raising, and invites the United Nations Environment Program to facilitate the observance of the day, and requests the Secretary General to bring the present resolution to the attention of all states. And so let's use the World Lake Day to galvanize actions for lakes. Using World Lake Day as a springboard for mainstream lakes, how can we do that? I'd say that we can do anything, something on and for lakes. Any actions of yours will promote lakes to be mainstreamed. For example, enjoy lakes. Visit, view, cycle, sail, fish, sport. Whatever you want, you can do that in lakes. Talk, think, speak, write, chat, create, photograph, paint, compose, think, dance about lakes. Blog, TikTok, tweet, SMS, and care, clean nature, nurture, restore, conserve, celebrate, campaign, festival, discuss, conference, workshop, webinar, learn, monitor, study, research, whatever you do for lakes that is contributing to mainstream lakes. So this is the event and action calendar from now until July 2026, 2025. So we can do a celebration event in each of the local areas, communities, and countries. And we can also send the celebrating messages and do something for lakes and registration of the events and activities in UN action agenda of the UN conference. So finally, use the 20th World Lake Conference to galvanize mainstream actions by realizing what I proposed and recommended in this presentation. My last slide said what can be done in the 20th World Lake Conference. First, political messages. The WSC20 can announce clear-cut political message in conference declaration. Two, proposal of the post-SG targets. For example, progress rate of ILEC planning and implementation can be a good target for the post-SDG target and indicator. Proposal to strengthen a political element in the future World Lake Conference, like, we can discuss ministerial conference and other political process within the Lake Conference. And we can also create some basic principles which governors may assign for their participation as the World Water Forum did for water. Proposal to start political collaboration with other processes, strategizing lake engagement in the UN 2026 for the conference together with the other member states, and also World Water Forum 11 in UAE, in Saudi Arabia. And finally, discuss a core body of two mainstream lakes. We need a core body to continuously and sustainably push for the mainstream lakes. For example, strengthening ILEC in mandate and support so that it can be a central body to lobby for mainstream lakes. So these are things you can consider for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Hiroki, for your inspiring keynote. Your message underscored the importance of bringing lakes into the global water agenda and how we should take actions, and especially as we look beyond the SDGs. Thank you.
By the way, can you hear it? Because the internet connection from here was bad.
Your voice got off, on and off, but we could Here, thank you very much.
At least you can take a look at the slides,
Yes,
which is self-explanatory.
thank you. So with that, now we move to part one, technical session, hydrological assessments, which will help lay the groundwork for the further discussions later. To introduce our first technical session, I would like to hand over to Dr. Masahisa Nakamura, ILEC Science Advisor. Dr. Nakamura, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rika, and thank you very much for President Takemoto and Dr. Hiroki about very important broad scope messages that form the foundation of this and the succeeding events in Australia and New York and so forth. Thank you. Now, as the title of this webinar says, the climate change impacts on lakes and their basin assessment observations from Lake Biwa and Yodo River Basin and global perspective. We have two parts. The first part pertains to global, international aspects of this title. And we have two speakers, Professor Tanaka of Kyoto University and Mr. Kaji of JICA that focus on the specific research as well as actual intervention projects being undertaken by these organizations. The second part will be really focusing on Lake Biwa. And we have a keynote speaker again, and also a discussant on Lake Biwa. It's a very specific lake, one of the most extensively studied lake globally, and focusing on one particular lake in Japan next to our institution here, ILEC, at the shore of Lake Biwa. Would be very appropriate, and with two parts. Thereafter, we'll follow with some panel discussion. But first of all, Professor Tanaka from Kyoto University, historical changes and future projections of hydrological environments of the world major watersheds, which includes, by the way, the RC. He has been to the Central Asia region, including RC a lot. And also including in his presentation some analysis that he's undertaking on climate change impacts on Lake Biwa. Professor Tanaka, floor is yours.
Hi. 見えてますかね。
見えてます。
はい。Okay. Thank you very much to give me this opportunity to introduce our recent study related to climate change impact assessment. First of all, today's content is the result from land surface model. Generally, land surface model calculate three balance equation: radiation balance and water energy balance and water balance. Radiation, energy balance, water balance. And usually land surface model only calculate land part like this, soil and trees and so on. General land surface model only calculate land part. But we have developed land surface model including other component like urban area and water body. So this is one of the uniqueness of our land surface model called SHIBUK. So from the beginning, I added this water component because I was born near the Lake Biwa. So water is a must item for me. So that's why this lake part was included from the beginning of this model development. But anyway, other uniqueness of our model is we can calculate the irrigation water demand in the irrigated farmland. It is farmland or rice field, any kind of cropland we can calculate. Physically based analysis can be done. Other aspect is generally land surface model, but we have uniqueness in considering urban area and water body and irrigated farmland. This is one of the strongness to consider the effect of basin development in the water balance analysis. So in the land surface model, water balance is calculated every time step. This is in some of the rain coming into the soil and some go down. As a result, next step increase. After rainfall, only evaporation. So soil moisture gradually decreases. So next time reduce like this. So this kind of water balance and water flux is calculated every time step hourly. In our model, time step is 1 hour. I will show you some application example. This is Lake Biwa, Yodo River Basin, including Lake Biwa in the upstream, very big one. The water from Lake Biwa is supplied to downstream area of Kyoto and Osaka and Kobe. More than 13 million people use this water. This is land use map. And here is some time-varying parameter of vegetation condition. Okay, this is how much leaf is on the growing in the field. So every day, every month, the leaf is changing like this. We can get this kind of information from satellite. From vegetation index, we can analyze. Then we can give the amount, estimate the amount of leaf like this. And this is some special data, especially given for this analysis. This is fraction of rice paddy field. Very detailed data was included in this analysis. And this slide shows some validation of this water balance calculation for several dam catchment. Okay, so we have several dams. So Takayama Dam is here, big one. Catchment is big, and also in this catchment there are many rain gauges. So the accuracy of rainfall is very good. Then in this case, we can get a very good result for inflow to the dam. On the other hand, very small catchment like here Ishida River Dam, very small, and only one rain gauge located in the dam site, only dam site, upstream no rain gauge. in such a case, the water balance is like this. So this is like a model validation, but also this is a validation of the quality of forcing data, forcing rainfall. So we can say that also if you look at Hiyoshi Dam, a rather big catchment, in this case also we have get a better result like Takayama Dam. So this is like a validation of the input rainfall data. In this way, so model can good response if we give the good data. This is also true. So to run the model in good condition, we should prepare the good quality of rainfall data. This is a very important aspect of this kind of analysis. Anyway, so this is distributed model, so we can produce the spatial distribution of various various element of water balance component and energy balance component, and also state variable like soil moisture, snow water, and so on. This is just an example of various parameters from this model. This panel is precipitation, annual precipitation. So north part very big rain precipitation, rain and snow very big. And this is evapotranspiration. So rice field and Lake Biwa has more evaporation than other area. Urban area is very small. This is a snow accumulation. So some high mountain in the Shiga prefecture, they have many snow in the mountain like this. This is a surface runoff, and this is a base flow runoff. So for if we talk about water resource, surface runoff is generally this is just a flood. Basically this is flood, so no chance for use. So for water resource, so base flow is important. And if you look at rice field is always have water, so they produce many base flow. But this water is supplied from outside by irrigation. So this is not a real water source. So this panel shows how if we delete the irrigation water from the base flow, then it becomes negative value. So rice field is a water consumption area, and what real water source is a mountain area, forest mountain area like this. This is a effective water resource. This is base flow minus irrigation. So such kind of parameters can be produced from land surface model. And I want to show another application example in the Central Asia. This is RRC Basin. As mentioned in the previous presenter, RRC has been developed historically. They created big irrigated farmland in the past. So in this analysis, we conducted a long-term historical simulation considering this, how the irrigated area was expanded in the past. Then water balance calculation was done, and finally we estimate the change of RRC from the precipitation of RRC, evaporation from RRC, and inflow to RRC. By the water balance of this inflow and precipitation and evaporation, the storage change can be calculated. By this calculation, we update the RRC area as a result of water balance in the basin. Okay, so we can give it by satellite image or some aerial photo, but in this analysis, we try to reproduce the change of RRC from the basin water balance. Okay. This is a historical change of irrigated land in the past. So this is the year. So historically change like this. This is 1970s, 80s, like this. So gradually, irrigated land has developed in the past. We give this data to the model. And so this is annual evaporation. You see, this is calendar every year. So you see, this is a RRC area has much evaporation. But you see, as a result of shrinkage, this area gradually shrinking year by year, as you see. And this is another one, Sarigamish Lake. This was created by the drainage water of irrigation. So it is also expanding. Such kind of historical change has been reproduced by the basin analysis like this. This is some validation of the volume of RRC is changed. Analysis is blue line, and the red one is observed value or report value in the report. And this is the water balance over the RRC. So this is increasing irrigation water. And this orange is total runoff produced in the basin. So on the long term, runoff itself is not changing so much, but water consumption is increasing like this. Then water inflow to RRC is drastically reduced. This is inflow part. This difference is the inflow part. Then RC shrink like this. This shrinkage pattern is almost same as a historical observation, like this. As this is distributed model, we can quantify the water used for what purpose or what area. So we can clarify how much is water loss, how much is really used for crop, how much is used for the Karakum Canal, how much is for Sarigamish Lake. Such kind of component also we can analyze from this kind of physically based distributed model. Okay. So from now, I want to move on to the global assessment. For the global assessment, I utilize the EasyMIP3 experiment data. For the historical run, 3A experiment data was used. In this, this is historical run based on observation. So forcing was created by the historical observation and reanalysis data and some bias correction, etc. So they created somehow. I just used this product. And one of the uniqueness of this experiment, they tried to prepare the historical land use change. This is very good, important information to discuss the historical change. So they created somehow. Of course, some part may be not realistic, some part may be not correct. But anyway, they created global, long-term historical land use change map in this project. So land use information was given every year from this analysis. This is some example of irrigated land fraction. So this is resolution is 0.5 degrees, so a little bit coarse, but cover global land cover. So in the beginning of last century, irrigated area was like this. You see? Yeah, of course, there are some irrigated area already. And after 120 years, now irrigated area is expanded like this. So very big north part of China and the north part of India has a big change also. And also you can see a big change in the Central Asia and also Mediterranean area and United States. You can see. This is some close-up image of the Central Asia like this. So big increase of irrigated area is given to the model. So by given the long-term historical climate data and land use data, hydrological analysis was done like this. So this is example of monthly evapotranspiration change like this. And this is some analysis based on the anomaly index. I calculated anomaly index. This kind of analysis could detect the such kind of drought event or something. So I checked some example. This is for India. A drought was happening in 87, 2002, and 2016. Of course, India has a drought almost every year, but this is very big one. Big one was selected. More than 300 million people were affected in these 3 years. And this is some result for those years. So very red color was you can see. So India has negative. So this is very big negative anomaly. So it should be drought. This is almost all part of India has a red color, so almost the drought. And this 2016, almost south part of India has a severe drought. So it is clearly reproduced by this analysis. Another example is Japan also. Japan is basically humid area and very rare for the drought. But we had a big drought in 1994. So precipitation was much smaller than normal year. And soil moisture was dried like this, almost all part of the Japan. Available water resource was very small compared to other years. So in this global analysis, Japan drought event was detected like this. Okay, this is a lake community, so I want to show you some result from this global analysis. I selected some lake, Malawi Lake in the east-south part of Africa. Nile River, this is upstream of Nasser Lake or upstream of Aswan High Dam. Another one is Hanka Lake, Russia and China かな。Other one is Ubus Lake between Russia and Mongolia, and other one is Chad Lake, Lake Chad. This is many countries in Central Africa, and this is Dead Sea Basin of the Middle East, Jordan River, Other one is Titicaca Lake in the South America, Peru and Bolivia かな。ペルー and Bolivia. Other one is Turkana Lake, in the East Africa. これはケニアとエチオピアやったかな。East Africa. So this is a result for Malawi Lake. This is a historical change. This is Malawi Lake. So precipitation was in the past increased, then now decreased than previous period. Evaporation is increased and decreased. This is almost same as precipitation pattern. So this is not so humid. So precipitation amount directly affect to evaporation. Okay. So in this basin, in the past, forest was decreasing like this. This is land use. Forest was decreasing and urban area is increasing. But irrigated area is not so big change ですね。Maybe non-irrigated cropland were increased. But anyway, this is just showing irrigated and urban area and forest. Yes, irrigated area is increased, but still not so big. Soil moisture, this is a soil moisture, but so monthly mean soil moisture's lowest month value. Lowest soil moisture month has decreasing, so especially the last recent period, very big decrease from the previous. Okay, and the temperature is changing like this. Recently, big little bit increase. As for Nile River, so precipitation is almost same, slightly change, but not so clear trend. But evaporation is slightly increased due to the temperature increase of the recent decade. So evaporation increased. Then runoff decrease. Okay. In this basin, also forest has decreased, slightly decreased like this, and city and irrigated area increased. ですね。Again, so soil moisture is decreasing in the recent 30-year period, decreasing from the previous period. This is Hanka Lake Basin. In this basin, precipitation is slightly increasing trend. Evaporation is also increasing trend. ですね。Soil moisture is not changed so much, almost same. But this basin has some development of irrigated land here. So, clear increase of irrigation water use. Obus Lake, precipitation is a little bit stable or slightly decreasing, almost no trend. Evaporation is changed like so. Also, same pattern as precipitation. ですね。Land use is somehow strange. So increase, then decreased. What happened? I don't know. But anyway, this data set say increasing, recently decreasing. ですね。I don't know why this is decreasing. But irrigation water is increasing. これも変だけどな。 a little bit strange. So irrigated area is decreasing. でもそうか、ピリオドが、ちょっと待ってよ。1990、ここから。そういう意味では、そう。そうだね。まあ、インクリーズしてもいいんだな。OK. Not so strange. まあ、like this. Then, this is Ubus Lake ですね。As for Chad Lake is also big issue of shrinking of Chad Lake is also big issue. So in this basin, precipitation is not changed so much, but irrigation water is increasing and soil moisture is decreasing ですね。This is Dead Sea. Precipitation is decreasing trend, clearly decreasing. And evaporation is slightly decreasing. Runoff, very big decreasing ですね。はい。This basin has been developed so much, so land use was increased like this. Originally forest, nothing, no forest. So city area, urban area also increased. So developed like this. So water use has been increased like this. For that, soil moisture is decreasing like this. And this is Titicaca Lake. So precipitation is slightly decreasing. And evaporation is recently slightly increasing. And runoff decreasing ですね。In this basin also land use is like this. So city is increasing, but irrigated areas data is somehow strange. So increase, decrease, increase. I don't know it is really happen or not. But this data set says irrigated land has changed like this. As a result, irrigation water is changed like this. And moisture is decreasing. This is Turkana Lake of the East Africa. This basin has more rainfall, so increasing rainfall trend is observed like this, increasing. And evaporation also increasing. As a result, runoff increase, then decrease. Last decades decrease ですね。はい。irrigation water is increased this period, but recently not much, not so much used. はい。Moisture is like this. Okay, this is historical run. So how about the future? This is a future projection. In this future simulation, 5 GCM used 5 GCM and for 3 SSP scenario. So by combination of 5 GCM and 3 RCP scenario, so we have a 15 simulation as conducted. So like this, we have a 15 future projection, 15 simulation. So this is precipitation change. So each global model say different trend. Some models say increasing, some models say decreasing. So we don't know which is correct. So that's why we do the more ensemble simulation because we don't know which one is correct. This is temperature. Anyway, increase, but amount of increasing temperature is different from model to model. Okay, this is a future projection for Malawi Lake. precipitation doesn't change so much ですね。But evaporation will increase by the more temperature. So, available water will decrease. So, soil moisture decrease ですね。The irrigation water should be more than now because water demand will increase by the high temperature ですね。This is Nile River. Nile River will receive more rain in the future. So evaporation also increase, but rainfall increase is good enough. So as a result, irrigation water requirement will be smaller than now. This is projection. By the more precipitation supply, less water is needed for irrigation. As for Hanka River, future rainfall will increase than now. ですね。Evaporation will increase. So, like this. Irrigation water is not so big change from now. ですね。Evaporation will increase, but they have more rain. So, irrigation water is almost same as now. Not so big change. This is a projection for Hanka Lake. For the Obus Lake, also they have more rainfall future. So, irrigation water will be smaller than now future ですね。Future will be less water is needed. For the lake chart, hopefully they will receive more rain in the warming future and more evaporation. Then irrigation water will be slightly increasing, but not so big increase ですね。Because based on the more rain, soil moisture will be more than now ですね。As for Dead Sea is not so good future, so they will less rainfall. So currently already dry, but they will less rainfall, especially for SSP 3.7 and 5.85 scenario. They will receive less rain. Then irrigation water will more than now ですね。はい。This is not a good future ですね。As for Chichikaka Lake, they will have more rainfall, but evaporation is much more, and irrigation is more. So soil moisture is drier than now. So they will need more irrigation water in the future. This is some water shortage may happen in the future. This is Turkana Lake. Turkana Lake has more rainfall and already good rainfall. So in the future, almost no irrigation water is needed because they have more wet condition. So like this, by the physical based distributed model, we can show what will happen under the climate condition and the land use condition. So if we based on just observation, we just know what happened in the past. We know this from the observation. But if we use such a physically based model, we can show the scenario. If the development is like this, result will be like this. And for the future also, if the future development is like this, the result is like this. So we can show such a scenario analysis like that. So we can discuss how the river basin or lake watershed is managed or developed in the future. If we choose this option, water balance will be like this. If we choose this option, water balance will be like this. So in this way, we can discuss together how the future land use will be good for the considering the climate condition. We can discuss based on such kind of physically based models data. I hope. So this is summary of my presentation. I have shown the global experiment of the historical change and the future projection, considering the land use change and climate change. And some of the transboundary lake watershed result was shown. Okay, and for such kind of scenario analysis by physically based model can be a basis for decision making for future watershed management and climate change. Okay, that is all for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tanaka. I'm pretty sure the audience has a lot of questions. I want to interact with him. Unfortunately, we don't have time, but please leave your comments or questions in the chat box. We'll later on follow up. And also, Dr. Tanaka will be also main speaker at the International Colloquium in Brisbane on 21st of July. And we would like to see a lot of discussion over the course of the conference will take place. Thank you again, Dr. Tanaka. It was very interesting to link up with the Lake Biwa situation, global situation. Now, the next speaker, we have Ms. Marie Bobbin from UNEP. And her presentation pertains to the UNEP's platform called GEMS, Activities, Global Environmental Monitoring System. And of course, UNEP is the agency in charge of the SDG monitoring of environment, including lakes. And the platform they have developed has a broad range of resources, networks, and research collaboration on the subject, also related to what Dr. Tanaka was mentioning about. We collaborate very closely, ILEC, UNEP. Mrs. Bourbon, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you for inviting me to speak today on this and contribute to this very important conversation on climate change impacts on lakes. So as you introduced, I will focus my presentation on UNEP's global environmental monitoring system and its relevance to freshwater assessment and sustainable lakes. So as Mr. Yuroki highlighted in this presentation, lakes are of course a core topic of the UN agenda, and especially a growing topic in UNEP's agenda. So there was the resolution in 2022, resolution UNEA 5.4 adopted during the Environment Assembly on sustainable management that calls member states to protect, restore, and preserve lakes and ensure the sustainable management of lakes, integrating them into national development plans. And it also encourages international cooperation to better protect lakes. In 2024, as Mr. Takemoto mentioned in his introductory remarks, the resolution 79-142 was adopted regarding the observance of World Lake Day on the 27th of August. It was adopted by the UN General Assembly, and we will celebrate this year the celebration of the first World Lake Day. I will get back to this later in my presentation. And lakes are also embedded in the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration that spans from 2021 to 2030, and which aims at preventing, halting, and reversing the degradation of ecosystems worldwide by engaging member states to commit into restorations activity. So to implement this agenda, UNEP is undertaking several activities. The first one is to enhance the knowledge on lakes. So I chose to highlight two specific publications. The first one is the Atlas of Our Changing Environment with a focus on Africa's lake. And the second one is a technical guidance document to guide water quality expert into monitoring and assessment in rivers, lake, and reservoir. So UNEP really has this role of disseminating knowledge. Also in this regard, UNEP is designing capacity development products. So I wanted to highlight in this the course on sustainable lake management that we designed in collaboration with ILEC. And I will get back to this later in my presentation. There are also capacity development products that are under development through an agreement with another of our partner being IHE Delft. And finally, UNEP is also involved into awareness raising activities to foster engagement. So there will be during the celebration of World Lake Day, the launch of the Lake Portal, which is a new tool to learn about the diversity of lakes ecosystem and the threats that they face. It's an open access tools and resources to join UNEP in preserving lakes ecosystems. And finally, lakes are at the core of the UNEP Freshwater Challenge, which is a country-led initiative to restore lakes and wetlands while securing all the livelihood associated to this very fragile ecosystems. As of today, more than 50 countries and the EU are already part of it. And the idea is to accelerate efforts to protect lakes. So now that I said this overview on the UNEP's agenda, we shall move on to the presentation. Oh, sorry. Of course, this work will be highlighted during the World Lake Conference in July 2025, where UNEP will be contributing through the launch of the Lakes Portal and several other activities. So as I was saying, I will now introduce the GEMS water program. So GEMS stands for Global Environment Monitoring System for Freshwater. So the goals of the UNEP GEMS water are to first advance the global agenda for sustainable development. So as you may already know, the Sustainable Development Goal 6 pertains to access to quality water and sanitation for all. So UNEP is contributing to this global agenda by providing quality assured data to keep the state of the world's freshwater resources under review. This is done through a partnership with the Federal Institute of Hydrology in Germany that hosts the GEMSTAT database. This database gathers data from water bodies all around the world, specifically on water quality. And UNEP is also, GEMS Water is also the custodian entity for the, SDG indicator 632 on ambient water quality. So we'll have a snapshot of this this report in the next slide. The idea is that all member states are contributing through a global network of national focal points to this reporting on ambient water quality. James Water is also supporting countries in capacity development activities to help them enhance their knowledge on the quality of the water resources. And finally, James Water is convening the World Water Quality Alliance, which is a stakeholder platform that gathers technical experts and researchers on various topics related to water quality, such as biomonitoring, earth observation, ecosystems, and so on. And the World Water Quality Alliance produces new knowledge to support decision-makings, working with various stakeholders all around the world. As I was mentioning, so this is a snapshot of our latest report on SDG indicator 632. So this is the report from 2023. So we now have more than 120 countries reporting to this indicator. In this indicator, we consider various water bodies, such as lakes, rivers, or groundwater. And 5 parameters are being considered to be reported on. So oxygen in the water, salinity, nitrogen, phosphorus, and acidification. What we can see is that a lot of countries are reporting on a very low amount of data. So there is an important work to be done to fill this data gap. And this is a focus that we will also have on lakes. This table below shows the number of lakes that were reported on in 2023. Sorry. And what we can see is that there is a very low percentage of lakes that were reported on in 2023. So from 0% to the maximum is 15%. It is very important to have data on these lakes, because what we see is where we have no data, we have no information to guide policies on how to protect and restore those water bodies. So the question is really, how can this data gap be filled? Because having data help us building scenarios on how those ecosystems will evolve, and will be able to first sustain livelihood of the population living around those lakes, but also serve their ecosystems built around this. So to fill this data gap, James Water is working on 3 different activities that I will now elaborate on. The first one being to enhance knowledge on the data. The second one is capacity development, so supporting capacity development. The last one is advocating for a better integration of lakes into the global agenda to mitigate and adapt to climate change. So the first activity that James Water is contributing to is to enhance knowledge through better collection of data. Historically, we work a lot with in situ data collection. As I was mentioning earlier, we have 120 country reporting for the 2023 data drive, so a global network of national focal points. But we can see that those data today are not sufficient to know about the quality of the world water quality. So we are more and more working to integrate other types of data. The first one being data from Earth observation. So the World Water Quality Alliance has a work stream dedicated to Earth observation. And there was a project seed funded by the WWQA to study how Earth observation data can be used to report on SDG 632. Another set of data that we are willing to use more and more is data from citizen science projects. So citizen science is a way to train citizens to contribute to the enhancement of knowledge of the water quality. As of today, we have 2 countries, Sierra Leone and Tanzania, who integrated citizen science data in their SDG 632 report in 2023. And we are working with 5 more countries in sub-Saharan Africa to increase this and hence helping filling this data gap. Sorry for my voice. James Water as a second activity is also working to support capacity development. So James Water has published several methodologies and technical guidelines to support member states in reporting for SDG 632. There is also, I was mentioning it earlier in my presentation, an agreement to develop capacity development projects specifically focused on lake protection and restoration. So this is an agreement with the German GIZ, and we're working together with our partner IHE Delft for the development of these products. Thirdly, the World Water Quality Alliance members are also involved into the Upcycle project on reducing phosphorus emission to protect lake ecosystems. And finally, we are also involved into several citizen science projects through our several of our partners and the World Water Quality Alliance Citizen Science for SDG 632 work streams. Lastly, James Water and the WWQA also have a role in advocacy. So to better integrate lake protection in the political agenda, I chose to highlight 2 publications from the World Water Quality Alliance Ecosystems workstream. The first one being the global survey on an assessment of lake restoration in practice that highlights the importance of implementing joined-up thinking that better integrates science into policy and practice and ensure strong and inclusive stakeholder engagement and collaboration across multiple sectors. And this is something that I really want to highlight, the need to work across sectors to achieve a better integrated lake management. And the second paper is a white paper called Embedding Lakes into the Global Sustainability Agenda that calls for international policymakers to consider a new sustainable approach to lake management with ecosystem and restoration at its core. It highlights several steps into this agenda. Of course, there is capacity development, but also working with policymakers to better embed lake management in national policies, the importance of green finance and to foster partnerships in this regard. And finally, the awareness raising campaigns to highlight this work. And in that regard, the upcoming World Lake Day and the World Lake Conference will be key to have those discussions. I now reached the end of my presentation. So in conclusion, monitoring water quality in lakes is essential to design relevant policies to better protect and restore lake in the context of climate change. And working on filling the current data gap is a required first step because, again, where we have no information, it is impossible to implement relevant policies to fight the impact of climate change. So there is a need for better collaboration on the international level. So we're working, of course, with other UN agencies to fill this data gap. But the collaboration that we have with partners such as ILEC is also key to support capacity development and raise awareness on these very essential issues. Thank you very much for your attention, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any follow-up question on this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. Her presentation echoes the statements made at the outset by President Takemoto and Professor Hiroki about the important role the UN plays along with national governments. And in this time, we are focusing on scientific contributions coming from various individuals and organizations, among which ILEC's network participants have been very instrumental in helping us also help UN. Now, the next presentation is by Mr. Kaji Takashi of Japan International Cooperation Agency, again, JICA, we call, and ILEC very closely collaborating on many aspects, including human resources development and in basin management. But this time, we particularly appreciate him touching on the JICA's strategy, they call the cluster strategy, to support IWRM, which also includes lake concerns. And he presents today 5 cases that has a pretty sort of distinct features in each case. And also JICA's approach is to go somewhat deeper than the UN on specific cases in terms of helping the governments, helping the particular situations. So you get a different perspective on collaboration, and we look forward to very stimulating presentation by Mr. Kaji. The stage is yours, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nakamura. Let me share my presentation. Yes, can you see this presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nakamura again, and thank you very much for the convener for giving us to introduce JICA's strategy and the exact the project on in the developing countries. My name is Takashi Kaji, working for JICA in the Department of the Water Resources Management Group. And so today I would like to introduce, as Dr. Nakamura said, our strategy for the basin management and some the detail the project and recommendations based on our JICA's strategy. The JICA is the organization which supports developing countries for their sustainable development. And but my group, my department is focusing on the water resources management. So the first, I would like to introduce our strategy, the so-called JICA Global Agenda, JGA. So under this strategy, we have one cluster strategy, practical integrated water resources management to solve water-related issues in regions. So under this cluster strategy, we try to promote the water security and resilience to climate change in developing country through integrated and inclusive participation from various stakeholders.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you turn the slide to slideshow?
Yeah. It is okay?
Not yet, but let's wait.
Wait, let's.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oops.
Let me try again. Is it okay now?
Still not the slideshow mode.
Can you go to the bottom of your slide? Yeah, and then click the right next to the zoom, you have that marker at the bottom right.
Sorry.
Right next to it. Next. The fourth one.
Fourth one. This.
No, at the bottom.
Sorry.
Or maybe you just
拡
zoom
大縮小の引っ張る棒のすぐ横にあるやつです。マイナスの横のやつです。マイナスの横の拡大縮小のプラスマイナスのバーのすぐ左側にあるところを叩いてください。画面のマークみたいな。
右下です。右下。
右下の。
右
下の。
それクリック。
あ、これですか？
それじゃなくて、その拡大縮小のバーの、それです。
これで
でもさっき押しましたよね。だから、多分、いかないと思います。
じゃあ、ズームアウト。
このままでも大丈夫ですよ、多分。
いけますか？じゃあ、そのままやってください。
はい、すいません。Yeah, I'm sorry about this inconvenience, but yeah, I will continue. Okay, so under this strategy, we take the approach under this strategy, so that when we formulate the project, first we try to identify the core issue in basin or region, and one of the pillars of this under this strategy is to strengthen the capacity of the responsible entity for water resources, such as Ministry of Water Resources, local government, etc. We expect, we think their capacities, of course, as we know, very crucial to solve the core issues. In addition, another important pillar is to functionalize the mechanism of multi-stakeholder partnership. Several times it is called like a river basin organization, river basin committee, river basin council, etc. However, whatever they call, we try to functionalize those mechanisms for involving the various stakeholders. So by combining those two pillars, we try to solve the core issue. However, as in addition to these two pillars, we need other like relevant organization participation for the river basin management. So depending on the issue, we try to identify the necessary relevant the organizations which must be involved in the project. Usually it might be the agriculture sector, industrial sector, or water supply sector, which use the huge amount of water. So to combining those, the pillars, we usually conduct pilot activities for them to obtain necessary capacity for the water river basin management. And by the strategy, we have two main goals by 2030. Then I will introduce several the detailed example of our project for promoting the basin management as well as water resources management under our cluster strategy. So far, we have conducted or we are doing several projects worldwide in Cuba, Bolivia, Philippines, Indonesia, and Sudan. As you can see, each project has different issues and different the participants. So we try to apply our cluster strategies and which needed to be the customized depending on the local context. So in this time, I would like to a bit more detail about the project in Cuba. So now we're doing the water resources management project in Cuba. Called the project for enhancement of capacity for ILEC in the Republic Cuba. This map shows the project area, which they colored with the green. Actually, that is the very huge groundwater basin.
Again, sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah.
The fund is not moving, and maybe we should screen share of your slide on our end. スクリーンがまだキューバのところになってなくて動いてないと思います。
はい。
で、みんなでシェアさせていただいていいですか？
はい、お願いします。じゃあ、こっち一応閉じましょうか。
できる。
ずっとスライドにやったのかな。
何ページまでできましょう？
ですね、これは6ですね、6、ページ6。
今、ちょっと前。これです。
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. This map shows the project area, and that is the wide groundwater basin. Northern part of that basin faces the issue of the declining of groundwater level, and the southern part of that basin has the issue of the salinization. And in this area, there are two major water users. One is drinking water to Havana, as well as to the local cities, and the irrigation. Irrigation is one of the biggest water user in that area. So the next please. Yeah. So in this project, at the beginning of this project, we had identified the issues in that area. There are two aspects of the issue. The first one is relational issues. Actually, there are several organizations which are involved in the water resources management, but there is not enough sufficient information sharing, and also those organizations did not have like a common understanding of the issues, visions, or understanding about the other organizations' activities, etc. And there were also not sufficient coordination mechanism among various stakeholders. The next aspect is technical issue. Sorry, please back again. Sorry. Yeah, the next aspect is technical issue. The INRH, which is the main responsible organization for water resources management in that area, does not have the sufficient engineering skill to monitor and to calculate the water balance of groundwater. And the agriculture sector, the Ministry of Agriculture also do not have enough capacity to promote the efficient use of groundwater. Yeah, so based on those issues, we are taking some approaches to promote integrated water resources management in that area. Please click. First, we have identified the issue, that is declining groundwater level and salinization. And next, to solve this issue, we are trying to enhance the capacity or function of the River Basin Council. And to tackle this issue, we are doing pilot activities to improve the water use efficiency in irrigation. So to do pilot activities, we are involving two important sectors, the water resources management sector and the agriculture sector. So under the pilot activities, those two sectors need to coordinate the appropriately. And to promote the pilot activities, the River Basin Council had the responsibility to monitor and coordinate those the organizations for the appropriate implementation of the pilot activities. Yeah, so please click and go to next page. Yeah, thank you. And so far, we have conducted several capacity enhancement activities on the ground. For the River Basin Council, we did several workshops, site visits, and the frequent discussion with the relevant stakeholders. To the INRH, which are main responsibility for the water resources management, we provide engineering training to measure the river flow, river velocity, and the groundwater level. To the agriculture sector, we have installed the meteorological instruments, as well as provide several engineering knowledge to measure the pumped water. Yeah, please go to next. So far, that is the example of the groundwater management based on the concept of ILEC. However, we think our cluster strategies also can be applied to the management of the lake. So this is just brief explanation of our potential project in near future, I hope. So we did this survey in around 2 years ago, and we found one basin in Ethiopia could be a potential area for our project. That is Hawassa, the sub-basin. The Hawassa sub-basin has very rich biodiversity, However, it faces the severe pollution by industry and coffee farms. And please go next. And we have identified the many issues in that Hawassa Basin, such as contamination, the lack of the monitoring activities, or lack of the coordination among agriculture sector and the environmental sector, etc. So based on those analyses, probably under our cluster strategies, we can promote, maybe we can formulate the future project for enhance the capacity of Ministry of Water and Energy, which is the main responsible organization for water resources management there. And the capacity enhancement capacity of Ministry of Agriculture, and to enhance or to promote or to enhance the function of the coordination mechanism among those organizations. Yeah, and please go next. So our strategy has been established a few years ago. So we are still on the process to promote our strategy as well as to obtain our lesson to improve our strategies. So, but in my last part of my presentation, I want to explain some early findings and learning under our strategy. The first one is the importance of the water governance. As I told you, one of the pillars of our cluster strategy is to enhance the capacity of the coordination mechanism. But as you know, this is a bit very narrow aspect of the water resources management. So we feel a bit wider aspect to promote water resources management is necessary, which could be the aspect of the water governance. As we know, the integrated lake basin management also emphasize the importance of water governance, which might cover the institution, organization, policy, technology, participation, information, and finance. And as we know, especially among them, the finance has become a critical issue. So probably, I think, in our project information, we need to develop an innovative finance mechanism. The second one is adaptive management. As we know, the climate change has been more severe. So as a result, the uncertainty in water resources management are increasing. So that's why we feel the adaptive management is very crucial in the water resources management. So we need to think about how we can enhance the capacity of the adaptive management. Third is social learning. As we know, there is no panacea in water resources management. And also, we know one organization alone cannot have the enough knowledge, data, information, or new idea for water resources management. So through the participation from the various stakeholders, we need to promote social learning among them to find innovative or new idea or new approach for water resources management. And we also can expect the social learning could enhance the capacity of adaptive management. So please go next. And fourth point is institutional system. We have the several projects in different countries which have different social context. So when we implement the project, we must take into account the institutional system at the local level, which might be centralized or decentralized system. But whatever the institutional system they have, we think the appropriate balance between top-down approach and bottom-up approach is necessary for the appropriate or effective water resources management. In addition, this is also known very well worldwide. The basin boundaries and administrative boundaries do not match, coincide. So within the boundary, usually there are several administrative organizations. So we need a very careful approach to coordinate those the multiple administrative organizations within one basin. And the fifth point is integrated approach to groundwater and surface water. We have identified that the gradual shift from the use of surface water to groundwater because the surface water has become unstable due to the climate change. Usually our project has focused on usually only the one of them, groundwater or surface water. However, nowadays we feel it is quite necessary to have the integrated approach for groundwater and surface water. And last point is consideration on green water. I'm sorry, last point still remains, but the JICA's project usually focusing on the blue water, but as we know, the green water plays very crucial roles to stabilize the climate change. So we feel the consideration on the green water might be very crucial for our project's implementation. Yeah, thank you so much. That is all from my presentation.
Very detailed, very specific cases that reinforces the points raised by the keynote speaker and the previous speakers. Again, we work very closely with JICA, and our program for human resources development interfaces many of the things that Mr. Kaji mentioned about. And also, I think this is the strong point of NGO like ours, international NGO like ours, and the government sector. And specific reference made by Dr. Kaji about financing is such a challenging issue. And the experience in some of the very specific intervention projects like ODA projects, we have a lot to share and learn and cross-fertilize before we can make substantial progress on SDGs that previous speaker Marie was talking about. Again, thank you very much. Now, I'm pretty sure you are very focused on listening to these and observing presentations, and kind of tiring, but this part 2 is really also very important and interesting. We focus on Lake Biwa for one at the outset. And if you recall, Dr. Tanaka was mentioning about Lake Biwa case about calibrating hydrological inputs to lake water amount and the state of hydrological impacts scenarios and so on. But of course, we have the other very important aspects of actually what is going on inside the lake. what has been the history, the natural science history, ecological transformations, as well as anthropogenic interactions, human nature interactions. And we have the very key person in this aspects of Lake Biwa, Dr. Machiko Nishino, who has been instrumental in covering that aspects, both in terms of the actual in-lake studies, instrumentation, and actual data collection inside the lake and the shore. And also she has been providing us a lot of insightful view of the linkage between lake and the river, the Lake Biwa and Yodo River. And she's a main author of the two very extensive book, Lake Biwa, Human Nature Interactions, 2 volumes, one 2016 and the other 2020, with a whole range of other publications on the subject. And she's going to cover this area in a very extensive subject area. But I think it's very important to complement what Dr. Tanaka was mentioning about on Lake Biwa, and also the importance of on-site studies, scientific studies. Dr. Nishino, the stage is yours.
Thank you for you introduce me. My name is Machiko Nishino. I have been studied the ecosystem of Lake Biwa about more than 40 years. And today's my presentation is recent changes in biodiversity of the ancient Lake Biwa based on long-term ecological data. Just a moment, I will prepare slides. Can you see?
Yes.
Is it okay, my slide?
Yes.
Okay. So my contents is 5. 1 is value of Lake Biwa. 2, characteristics of the biodiversity of Lake Biwa. Sorry. And 3 major periods of environmental changes during modern Lake Biwa history. And 4th, various kind of ecological threat or phenomena to Lake Biwa. 1, eutrophication. 2, decrease of fish catch. And 3, invasion of alien species. The 4, other threats like global warming or drought. And 5, conservation measures. And this is a map of world lake, great location of Great Lakes in the world. And there are 250 Great Lakes, area more than 500 kilometers. And Lake Biwa is here, and its area is 670 square kilometers. It's a 129th in size, so middle size of Great Lake. And this is the value of Lake Biwa. The first is as water resources. About 14.5 million people living around all the tributary of Lake Biwa Yodo Basin utilize lake water as domestic agriculture, industry, and municipal water. And 14.5 million people is world leading number of people that water resource from one lake provides. At the same time, Lake Biwa is one of the ancient lakes in the world with 66 species recognized as endemic, and about 80 species have been reported only from Lake Biwa. A total of about 150 species have been reported only from Lake Biwa. And so two value is a conflict between water resource development and conservation of Lake Biwa ecosystem. And this is a map of Lake Biwa. The Lake Biwa is located at the upper reach of Kyoto and Osaka and Kobe megalopolis. And Lake Biwa's water flows at the south end and through Fuji River to Yodo River to Osaka Bay. This is the height of Lake Biwa and the slope of downstream River Yodo Basin. This is Lake Biwa, and its water level is controlled at Seta Weir artificial dam. And its basic standard water level is formulated 84.391 meter above Tokyo Bay. And the downstream Yodo River, the slope of the downstream Yodo River is, very flat, about 10 meter height with 30 kilometer length. And this is the ancient lake, a map of ancient lakes in the world. And there are 26 million lakes in the world. But most of them have appeared less than 10,000 years ago, except about 20 ancient lakes. And Lake Biwa is one of the ancient lakes. So, and their characteristics is the presence of endemic species living only in the lake. And here I will compare Lake Baikal, Hupusgo in Mongo, and Victoria, Tanganyika in Africa, and Lake Biwa. This is the formation age and size and number of endemic species of representative ancient lakes. And Lake Biwa is right end. And its size is and volume, its size is 670 and volume 27.5 cubic meter, and maximum depth about 100 meter. And formation age is 4 million years, including Paleo Lake Biwa, and present lake was found to be about latent for 0.4 million years, and the endemic species is 60 species. This is the number of freshwater plant and animal species recorded in Japan. The pink is recorded in Japan, and in Lake Biwa is blue, and this is the endemic species. And for plants, fishes, mollusks, about half of Japanese aquatic semi-aquatic plants, fishes, and mollusks lives in Lake Biwa. And for mayfly, caddisfly, Chinomyces are aquatic plants, and they are 1/10 of aquatic insects lives in Lake Biwa. This is the number of aquatic and semi-aquatic species in Lake Biwa so far reported. And green is indigenous, and blue is endemic, and purple is species living only in Lake Biwa, but not sure endemic or not. And red is alien. And for respective taxonomic group and or ecological group. And please note that mollusca and fishes there are many endemic species in mollusca and fishes, and not so other taxonomic or ecological groups. Mollusks and fishes consist of 70% of the endemic species. And this kind of snail, generic name is Semisarcospira, is endemic species of Semisarcospira is 19 species. This is the only one species frogs that evolved within the lake quickly. But endemic species is not on lives in not only Lake Biwa, but also the Yodo River Basin in the downstream. This is the number of indigenous species and endemic species in Lake Biwa River Yodo Basin. And left is fishes and right is mollusks. And some fishes, some endemic fishes only in Lake Biwa, but another endemic fish live in both Lake Biwa and its downstream basins. And it's also for mollusks. Why? This is the, so we need to think about their habitat. This is the wetted surface area of Lake Biwa Yodo River Basin caused by major flood during modern 150 histories. Around Lake Biwa, 160 square kilometers wetted surface areas increased by a big flood in 1886. It consists about 1/4 of the present Lake Biwa. And in downstream, for respective floods, many areas wetted. So this means these areas are regarded as wetlands or floodplain in the old period, more than 100 years ago. And this is the, in the old areas, for old tale or pictures, paintings, that the already extinct bird or otter or goose, this is alive, but they are distributed in around Lake Biwa and Yodo River Basin. And floodplain is not distributed in Yodo River Basin, but around Lake Biwa around Lake Biwa Basin, and they are called attached lakes. And this is the photographs of some attached lakes, Matsunoki Naiko Lagoon and Gotandanuma Lagoon. They are very small water body, but connected with Lake Biwa by a small channel. So animals and plants can move, transport attached lake and Lake Biwa. And they attached lakes are very shallow, maybe less than 3 meters deep, and their diversity is characterized as reed bed. You can see these are reed beds. And this is the 8 spawning migration type of freshwater fishes of Lake Biwa Yodo River Basin. There are about 45 endemic indigenous fish living, and they spawn within and around Lake Biwa habitat. And their spawning migration, their spawning migration can be categorized about 8 categories. And so, for example, one is A type is breed on the rocky area, and another is from migration from Lake Biwa to attached lakes, and another species breed on attached lakes and paddy fields around the attached lakes. And so, fish species belong to the 4 types among the 8 types utilize the attached lakes for their spawning. This is the distribution of attached lakes about 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and recently. And the area of attached lakes have, you can see, blue is attached lakes have greatly decreased, and Lake Biwa area also greatly decreased. And this is the changes in the area of surface area of Lake Biwa and attached lake. And Lake Biwa decreased about 15 square kilometers, 19 square kilometers about these 100 years, during 100 years. But attached lake has 30 square kilometers. This means disappeared area of attached lakes is 1.5 times of disappeared area of Lake Biwa. So as a conclusion, there are 2 kinds of biota in Lake Biwa from the viewpoint of distribution of the endemic species. First group is plants and animals living only in Lake Biwa. And their major habitat or spawning sites are mainly rocky and sandy bedshore or pelagic and profound area. So I call them as a biota of a Great Lake. And second group is plant and animals living on utilize both Lake Biwa and its tributary, involving attached lakes and river Yodo Basin. And their major habitat of spawning sites are reed beds. I call them as a biota of wetland or floodplain. And biota of the second group suffered more severely from environmental changes of Lake Biwa. And this is the the major period of environmental policies during modern Lake Biwa history. And first began in flood control at the end of 1980s. In modern history, and as I shall begin, big floods in 1882 and 1884 occurred, and and then set aware the dam, artificial dam, was constructed at the south end of Lake Biwa in 1905. And then water resource development period occurred to increase water supply to the megalopolis or lower river basin. And especially Lake Biwa comprehensive development project will have greatly affected on the Lake Biwa environment. And flood control and water resources development period, lake water level was successively decreased. And at the end of Lake Biwa comprehensive development project, exposed effect of water decline and control. And so conservation of lake ecosystem began at the beginning of 1990s. And during this period, eutrophication occurs during the 1970s. And nutrient input caused by eutrophication with phytoplankton. And in the end of 1970, red tide occurred. And then invasive alien fish occurs 1980s, and invasive alien plant occurs 1990s. The first, the largest flood on record in 1896. This is a flooded area, wetted surface area of the lake, and light blue area was wetted surface. And total rainfall was 1,000 millimeter, and water level above Biwa surface level plus 3.76 meter. And wetted area about 160, about 1/4 of Lake Biwa area. And dates of water exposure 233 days. And construction of setter weir at the outlet of lake in 95. This is a photograph of a setter weir, and this is the original photograph, original one for the memorial. And next, Lake Biwa Comprehensive. Let me introduce Lake Biwa Comprehensive Development Project. This is a national project, and purpose is water resource development and regional development of Shiga Prefecture. And major policy was three kinds. One, mainly to draw down the water level of Lake Biwa to be SL minus 1.5 meter. Two, flood control measures. Three, conservation of water quality of Lake Biwa and natural environment. But unfortunately, of little perspective on ecosystem conservation at that time. This is the long-term changes of annual maximum and mean and minimum water level of Lake Biwa. The flood in 1896, water level up to 3.76 meter, and setter weir was constructed in 1905, and then the mean water level has gradually decreased, and water level control was formulated in 1992 at the end of the Lake Biwa Comprehensive Developmental Project. Water level control was formulated, and then drought. That means very low lake water level was frequently observed, and overall mean water level has decreased about 1 meter during more than 150 meters. And so ecological threat, so I will talk about ecological threat or phenomena that ecological phenomena during the long history of Lake Biwa. The first is eutrophication in Lake Biwa and its measures. The first algal bloom was found in South Basin, and then red tides occurred. This one occurred in both South and North Basin. So people around the lake was very shocked. So then local government enacted ordinance for prevention of eutrophication of Lake Biwa enacted. And so this ordinance to inhibit selling detergent involving phosphorus, because phosphorus is the main reason of the eutrophication of the lake. And so then various law was enacted. So various measures have been undertaken to stop eutrophication of Lake Biwa since 1979. For example, this is the penetration rate of public sewage system. In 1982, Ordinance for Prevention of Eutrophication in Lake Biwa was enacted. The penetration rate became higher and higher and exceed national average in 2000. And now it was 93% in Shiga Prefecture. As a result, this is the total phosphorus and the concentration of total phosphorus and nitrate to nitrogen of the long-term trends. It's increased in 1960 and peak in mid-70 and decreased. And nitrate to nitrogen also increased and then decreased at about 2000. And this is the transparency of the offshore of the Northern Basin. And this, sorry, おかしいな。And all three stations, transparency have decreased until 1990, then increased. This means the eutrophication measures have successively. But next threat is a decrease of fish catch. This is the annual fish catch of respective fish species in color. And this, except ayu fish, I will show later ayu fish catch. And it increased until 1974, then rapidly decreased, and the peak period is 1970. This year is reclamation of attached lakes finished year, then decreased, and the ordinance of predation eutrophication of Lake Biwa have of little effect on the fish catch. And mid-1980, alien fish increased, and at the 1990, the total catch of fish have greatly decreased. So local government took a back-buy policy to buy alien fish by a fisherman. So increase these. So fish catch increase mean the alien fish catch prevailed since 2000. So please remember 1990. This is changes in annual ayu fish, the major fish catch of Lake Biwa fishery. It's also have increased until 1990, but greatly decreased since 1990. Why so many? Why such a decrease begin? The reason where is the reason of the fish catch decrease? This is another survey of the water level control, relation of water level control and spawning of the indigenous Crucian carp in Lake Biwa. This is the endemic species. Water control level was established since 1990, and before, in 1964, their breeding season was from April to August. Then, after the control level in a control rule was formulated, in 1999, their breeding period was restricted only April to May. And no eggs, no larvae, no eggs since mid-June. This is a control rule, and the annual mean daily water level of Lake Biwa before control rule and after control rule was formulated. And control rule was 30 plus BSL plus 30 centimeter until mid-June, and decreased to minus 20 centimeter, and and decrease minus 30 centimeter in the end of August, and then up to October. And green line indicates the before control rule, and the black line is after the control rule. And there is a changes, the height changes, water level changes is decreased only 20 or 30 centimeter. And 30 centimeter to minus 20 centimeter is about 50 centimeter. So why 50 centimeter or 20 or 30 centimeter was affected to the breeding activity of endemic crucian carp? Because they lay eggs in the reed bed within the water, and reed bed reed bed shore was a very gentle steep. And then if water level dropped more than 50 centimeter deep, reed bed will be dried up, and endemic crucian carp could not find their spawning site. And in contrast, and rocky and cobble shore, 50 centimeter decrease does not bad impact for the animals, plant and animals in these living in these areas. And this is the another data of the same crucian carp number of crucian carp surveyed through their the crucian carp's breeding season. It is obvious that spring they breed on spring, but not summer. This is obliterated. Some individuals raise eggs, and we hypothesize that population laying eggs in summer population has been selectively eliminated for more than 30 years. And if so, it is recommended to maintain water level for long-term higher in June, in summer, in June and July. Suppose the peak period they are spawning and reproduce the stock laying eggs in higher water temperatures. And another threat for the animals and mollusks is the artificial shore. For the Lake Biwa, natural shore consists of 61%, and artificial consists of 37%. So 1/3 of lake shore was covered with artificial shores. And this is a example of artificial. This is the road, and the right side of the road was almost all artificial foreshore and attached lakes. There are 2 attached lakes, and in old days, this is Lake Hira and this is Yanagihira. They can migrate from Lake Biwa to the attached lakes freely with a small canal. But embankment of artificial shores prohibit the spawning migration of the indigenous fishes. This is another reason why the fish catch of Crucian carp have decreased. And this is the direct data of, accumulated decreased reed bed areas in the relation of accumulated decreased reed bed areas and annual fish catch. And there was inverse relation between decreased reed bed areas, annual fish catch of Crucian carp. That means the artificial dikes, artificial shore prohibit the spawning of indigenous or endemic fishes. And another third ecological thought is invasion of alien fish. The largemouth bass and bluegill is assigned to invasive alien species, and they live in the reed bed zone, and most indigenous species utilize reed bed zone, endemic species also. So they are sympatrically live. The indigenous and alien species live sympatrically. And that is the reason why the fish catch has greatly decreased since 1990s. Another case is a decrease of molluscan biomass in the littoral of Lake Biwa. They live in the lake bottom of about 0 to 10 meter deep. And in 1953, 25,000 tons was estimated, but in 1960, about half, and great decrease is Corbicula. This is the endemic species and caught for fish. And in 2002, is the alien, it have changed the alien species. And why Corbicula species have decreased is one of the reasons is the decrease of sandy bottom and increase of mud bottom. The mud bottom has greatly increased in 1990 and 2000. So that is one reason why Corbicula have decreased. And also, this is the sandy shore of Lake Biwa shore. Is the sandy shore is shown blue, was also greatly decreased. And also, I'm sorry, time is limited. And this is the changes in the areas of indigenous terrestrial plants on the shore, and indigenous species have greatly changes in 2000. And invasive alien amphibious plant this is the alligator plant and water primrose was found in 2000 and sorry, this is the 2009 and spread rapidly in the lake. So, but they are firstly controlled by volunteers, and government made a full-scale control. And the other threat is one is impact of warming on the lake environment. This is the surface temperatures have increased. Also, this is the long-term changes in annual rainfall in the catchment area of Lake Biwa. So the mean was not so greatly changed, but drought have frequent, annual rainfall less than 150 millimeter have increased recent, and drought in 1994 to 2002 and 2005. So 5 times of 50 years. And before 1970, drought was found 5 times, recorded 5 times per 80 years. So drought have occurred frequently. And this is the long-term changes. Number of days that the water level exceeded BSL plus 30 centimeter is shown in blue, and less than minus 70 centimeter from the standard water level of Lake Biwa. And so it is obvious, but that the water level, the drought have frequently occurred. Severe drought has frequently occurred after since in 1992 that water level rule took effective. And it is noteworthy that the drought continues more than 100 days on a year. So the drought in 1994, many mollusca have died, and I have studied the mortality of their distribution, and Biwa River Office has calculated their mortality rate, and so their biomass is estimated from another research, and the estimated mortality rate was for snail about 9 to 11%, and clam about 8 to 11% have died at the recorded lowest recorded of in 1994. And the drought caused the regime shift from the lake dominated by phytoplankton by aquatic weeds. In 1994, the aquatic was distributed in the peripheral area, but now it covers all over the South Basin. This is a regime shift from caused by the severe drought in 1994. So this means the severe drought in 94, the biomass of aquatic have greatly increased. And finally, the measures for conservation of Lake Biwa and related areas are shown here, and I have no time to expand, but the water level, water quality have almost solved. Eutrophication has almost, we think eutrophication has almost solved. And then for invasive alien species, Biwa program and other law have enacted and estimated biomass of largemouth bass and bluegill has decreased gradually. For water level control, trial to control water level was Lake Biwa began, but it was not so greatly solved. So conclusion is ecological threats have partly solved, like eutrophication, but some still remain unsolved, like water level control and increase of muddy sediment on lake bottoms. In addition, we need to correspond to new threats such as warming and drought by fewer rainfall. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nishino. This is probably one of the most comprehensive presentations about man-nature interactions of the last centuries and sometimes much beyond that. And you heard so many stories, and each and every story involving government, people, and interventions and so on, all related to what the keynote speaker was talking about. What are we going to do over the next centuries, perhaps? What far beyond SDGs, as a matter of fact. So it is quite illuminating that we have to be talking about very long-term studies, science supported stories of man-nature interactions. A very important part of this, how we deal with the SDGs, and also cross-fertilize among different places in different regions of the world, as Dr. Tanaka was mentioning. And one of the things that we like to have you be introduced to is the next speaker, Dr. Kanako Ishikawa. We have been interacting with this Lake Biwa Research, Environmental Research Institute, doing studies along with Dr. Nishino, but also with international collaboration project on Lake Tana. So he will introduce to us the new development of research collaboration to add to what Dr. Nishino was mentioning about. So Dr. Ishikawa Kanako, please, the stage is yours.
Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for the introduction. I'm a research scientist at Lake Biwa Environmental Research Institute, specializing in ecosystem conservation. I'm always thinking about how local science researchers can contribute global issues like climate change. As a part of Japan ODA International project supported by JICA and JST SATREPS, I also conduct research at Lake Tana in Ethiopia. Today, I will provide a brief overview of the ecological challenges faced by each lake.
Dr. Ishikawa, could you
Hi.
turn your slide to slideshow mode?
Is it? ちょっと待って。これで changed? It is changed?
Not yet.
Not yet. ちょっと待って。again. ちょっと待ってね。スライドショー。これかな Can you see?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So, Lake Biwa is in Japan here, while Lake Tana is located far away in Ethiopia. Since I have only 10 minutes, I will go straight to the main topics. First, let's take a look at Lake Biwa. As Professor Nishino noted, the lake is no longer suffering from eutrophication. However, new and more complex ecological challenges have emerged. Since all elements and an ecosystem are thought to be interconnected, today I'd like to focus on a particular issue, its connection to global warming. At Lake Biwa, we have high-speed research vessels here equipped for monitoring and scientific researches, enabling the collection of long-term data. This graph illustrates changes in bottom water temperature. As shown, the annual minimum temperatures, those recorded in winter, have been rising significantly, likely as a result of global warming. This diagram illustrates water movement and oxygen level changes in warm region monomictic lake like Lake Biwa. From spring to fall, summer layering prevents oxygen from air, reaching to the bottom, causing oxygen loss. Normally, in winter, surface water cools and mixing the layers and bringing oxygen to down. However, due to global warming, full mixing doesn't always happen in recent winters. As a result, deep water oxygen depletion is becoming more severe recently. To assess the impact on deep water organisms, we have been conducting quantitative monitoring using ROV videotape since 2012, along with the measurement of water temperature and dissolved oxygen. Surveys are conducted every 1 to 2 months. A downward camera here, downward facing camera allows us to count benthic animals. Left graph shows the temperature changes at 90 meters depth, and the right graph shows the dissolved oxygen levels. In 2019 and 2020, the water only mixed partially, causing severe oxygen depletion in this year. These 4 species are monitoring using the ROV. Species marked in red are listed as crucially endangered, or near threatened on the red list. I will show you a video. In cold winter, December 2013, numerous gambas and shrimps and crucian carp. So it's a quite healthy condition. Then in December 2019, the water didn't mix well. So oxygen levels went down. The sediment on the lake floor darkened. You can see gambas and goby fish. However, some dead goby fish were also present in this area. In December 2020, high water temperature caused complete oxygen depletion, also allowing bacteria spread to across the lake bed. Oxygen tolerant planaria, endemic planarian died, but some shrimps are still alive. It's moved to lake bed in the winter. So looking at the counting result by year, following the year when partial mixing occurs, deep water species such as gammals and planarians declined sharply, and the lowest in the monitoring. In contrast, species with broader depth ranges, such as shrimps and gobyfish, were less affected. This ROV monitoring method allows us to continuously monitor deep lake bed organisms that are difficult to survey. The next case focused on the spread of invasive water hyacinths in Lake Tana, Ethiopia, and its impact on biodiversity. Dense mat of water hyacinths cover the water for several kilometers, like here. We cannot see the water anymore. Lake Tana is Ethiopia's largest freshwater lake, more than 4 times the size of Lake Biwa. It supports around 3 million people and flows into the Blue Nile River. The climate is tropical highland with stable water temperatures year-round. There are rainy and dry seasons with water levels fluctuating up to 2 meters annually. These conditions make it ideal for water hyacinth growth. Water hyacinths started spreading around 2012. Now it impacts not only boat navigation, but also lake biodiversity, nearby livestock farming. Cows ate water hyacinths instead of grass, had diarrhea, and their milk changed color. Also, when fish numbers dropped, some fisheries closed. In our project, Theme 1, focusing on using the remote sensing to monitor and harvest water hyacinths. And Theme 2 involves processing it into biochar, extracting nutrients, and generating biogas. And Theme 3, cultivate nutrient-rich algae, which is then used in Theme 4 to make bread that support children's nutrition. In this picture, the ambassador of Japan in Ethiopia, this woman, distributed this bread to elementary school children. Due to the ongoing civil war around the lake, on-site monitoring of water quality and ecosystem is not safe. Therefore, our team is developing a remote sensing system to track water hyacinth distribution using the drone and satellite, and the water quality and weather online, enabling prediction and harvest models to harvest water hyacinths. Here is the example of a web page. In conflict zones, environmental surveys are challenging. System using free satellite data like Sentinel-2 and Elysium satellites communication can provide real-time data information, predict future conditions, then help local local governments plan harvesting effectively. During safer period and locations, group harvesting campaigns are also conducted. To summarize, for sustainable ecosystem management, the monitoring system must align with the local ecosystem by combining underwater robots, sensors, and remote sensing. We can gain a clear, complete picture of ecosystem health. Thank you for your time and attention. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate you to the adaptation of World Lake Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Interesting international collaboration project, and also the comparative assessment of what Japan is facing and Ethiopia, this Lake Tana. Now we are coming close to the concluding part. As I mentioned, we like you to provide us with questions and comments. We don't have time to do the panel discussion, but we have three short presentation. First, by Dr. David Hamilton, the convener in charge of the upcoming Brisbane World Lake Conference. And he is the actually right now working on orchestrating various aspects of what we're talking about in the upcoming the conference. Dr. Hamilton, please.
Thank you very much, and I hope you can see my screen okay.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nakamura, and thank you to the conveners and organizers as well. So, as you're aware, the 20th World Lake Conference will take place from the 21st to the 25th of July, and we want to use that as a platform to raise the global profile of lake issues, of course, but also to unify scientific community and policy voices. And so what I'll be talking about today is what we are calling the Meanjin Brisbane Declaration for Lake Sustainability. So we're taking a model that's previously been used, and that is, it was adopted first at the International River Symposium. That symposium took place in Brisbane from the 3rd to the 6th of September in 2007. And arising out of it was the Brisbane Declaration for Environmental Flows. That is, that environmental flows are essential for freshwater ecosystem health and human well-being. And that was a very important landmark. It was a white paper, and it was also signed by all of the delegates at the conference. We think we can reach even further in this symposium by reaching all of the delegates in the conference, as well as others with an interest in lake sustainability. The Brisbane Declaration has been updated since in 2018, and there have recently been a number of papers that have even documented the process of that Brisbane Declaration. So a very important document for environmental flows having global reach as a consequence. Now, when I talk about the opportunity to bring together the groups who may be working on lakes, I had put this together previously, and it represents some of the diversity of different groups in terms of their roles and responsibilities. And there are many different societies that are working on freshwater. So this is a point of strength in terms of the diversity, but it is also a potential point of weakness in some ways, because our voices may be dispersed. So for this reason, the Brisbane Declaration is an important document, and that Brisbane Declaration for Lake Sustainability is the one that we want to put together as a united voice for addressing some of the issues that we've heard about, particularly maybe around a sustainable development goal for lakes themselves. So as I mentioned, there are different groups. We're all familiar, of course, with the International Lake Environment Committee Foundation, or ILEC. And also we heard earlier today about the World Water Quality Alliance, which provides an emerging and new opportunity through the United Nations to be able to unite for water quality of fresh waters. Some of the other groups you may not be so familiar with, for example, the Global Lake Ecological Observatory Network, with now approaching about 1,000 members and has been in existence for 20 years. And also the International Society of Limnology. And the International Society of Limnology holds a biannual conference biannually, and is another opportunity for us to be able to put the case of lake sustainability more widely through this declaration. So the Meanjin Brisbane Declaration on World Lake Sustainability, here is what we're proposing. And we hope that this can be adopted at the 20th World Lake Conference. We're saying it's in Meanjin, the Indigenous name for Brisbane, in Australia, July 2025. And here is some proposed text associated with that document, recognising lakes as vital systems for life, and proposing that on the traditional lands and waters of the Turrbal and Yagara peoples in Brisbane, that we'll affirm our collective commitment to the protection, restoration and sustainable governance of the world's lakes. We also want to acknowledge the inaugural United Nations World Lake Day on 27th of August and use that as the opportunity to promote the Brisbane Declaration. Some of the principles for lake sustainability, we've begun putting some text together and now have about a 2-page document that we'll be sharing and hoping to engender support more widely. So in essence, lakes are essential for life and planetary health. They're connected systems, not isolated water bodies. They're sentinels of environmental and societal change. Lake degradation, as we've heard, is undermining our global goals, particularly around the Sustainable Development Goals, and emphasising the need for the decade on restoration that we're currently in. Indigenous peoples and local communities must lead, and particularly in the Global South, Indigenous communities are playing an increasing role in the governance, the restoration, and the promotion of mitigation measures to climate change for lakes. And I'll just give you an example on the right-hand side of some of the emphasis on Indigenous peoples and lakes. Climate change is obviously going to demand urgent and adaptive responses. So just by way of summary, once again, the document will have in it these commitments to action, a commitment to restore and protect lake ecosystems and catchments, integrate lakes into national and global policy frameworks, support Indigenous and community stewardship of lakes, advance integrated basin scale governance, strengthen monitoring and research, which has been a particular, I guess in many cases, a failure. As we've implemented restoration programs, we haven't had the information that may be required to support the restoration. Promote innovation and technology transfer, invest in sustainable lake financing, and educate and engage children, communities, and civil society. And in that regard, we are hoping that the youth session at the World Lake Conference may in fact promote a declaration on lakes from the youth. Just to cover in a little bit more detail what we're calling on, calling on governments to enact national lake strategies. We're calling on the United Nations to plan for the adoption of lakes in the post-SDG global assessment framework. multilateral organizations to prioritize lakes and environmental agreements and funding mechanisms. The scientific community must continue to develop better tools to highlight the emerging threats to lakes. We hope that the private sector can continue its rapid growth in the nature-based disclosures, and that is that not just disclosures, but also adopting nature-positive practices and potential natural capital markets to be able to help protect lakes. And citizens and civil society to reconnect with lakes and advocate for their protection. So I'd be happy to address any questions. I hope that many of you will be at the World Lake Conference from the 21st to the 25th of July in Brisbane in 2025. And this is our opportunity now to be able to make a voice heard and bring lakes into the global policy frameworks, as we know that that's urgently required. And one of the things that came out of the Brisbane Declaration for Environmental Flows was that we needed an emergency rescue plan for environmental flows. I'm going to suggest that we need an emergency rescue plan to recover the diversity, the resilience, and the benefits of lakes to the global society. Thank you.
Dr. Hamilton, we look forward to participating in the Brisbane conference. And in your last slide, I have to sort of remind everybody the theme of the conference, lakes as sentinels of integrated water resources management, integrated river basin management. So it's quite appropriate that what we are doing today would also contribute to that aspect. I have two short presentations representing the audience, and they are very close friends of ILEC, have been very much involved in the training programs and other projects. The first of whom is Dr. Keiko Wada. If you can share us your idea about how we can address these things that the speakers were talking about. The stage is yours.
Thank you for Dr. Nakamura and my opportunity. My name is Keiko Wada from Kyoto University and Lake Biwa Yodo River Water Environment Research Institute. I have spent over 40 years researching water environment conservation and management in the Lake Biwa Yodo River Basin. So in the 1970s, Lake Biwa experienced severe water pollution. Legal frameworks and long-term coordinated action were developed resulting in gradual improvement in water quality. This is often cited as a successful case, but it requires overcoming significant challenges, such as upstream and downstream conflicts, balancing ecological protection with economic needs, and aligning diverse stakeholder interests. Lentic system, lakes, wetland, and other standing waters are particularly sensitive ecosystems, heavily influenced by surrounding land use and inflowing rivers. Their long water residence times allow them to act as regulator and transformer of water quality and ecological processes. Far from being passive receivers, They play an active and central role in water dynamics. Recognizing the critical function of lentic system like Lake Biwa is essential for achieving sustainable and integrated water governance. However, coordinating manager across administrative and especially transboundary and boundaries remains a persistent challenge. Today's discussion highlights two urgent priorities. First, to share scientific and policy insight from successful cases like Lake Biwa with the global community. And second, to embed the value of lakes more explicitly within integrated frameworks for disaster risk reduction, environmental management, and water resource governance. As climate change intensifies, lentic systems are becoming increasingly vulnerable. Based on my experience, a key policy challenge is to reposition lakes, not as endpoint of river systems, but active regulators vital to basin-wide resilience. This shift in perspective is essential. In this era of rapid environmental challenge, I encourage us all to consider what must we prioritize and how can we design and implement governance mechanisms that fully reflect the unique rules and value of lentic systems. That's all my opinion. Thank you very much, and thank you for all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wada. It's quite summarizing statement of what we have been doing and what where we are going ahead from this point on. Thank you very much. Lastly, our close friend, Dr. Keisuke Sato.
Yes.
Could you give us your contribution as a
Okay.
last speaker?
Okay, thank you very much. It's widely covered the topics by the oral presenter. I appreciate very much for the talk. I am not person for the summarizing all of the issues corresponding to the environment in the lake. But I had much of learned from the presenter that it should use for my research as well. Essentially, the importance to keep the water amount in the lake. If disappear the water, it cannot be sustainable. So the budget analysis of the water is essential to importance. So the idea from the Professor Tanaka is the extra requirement of the water to irrigation. It should be clarified very much. Otherwise, the budget will be break. Eventually, like LRC, the water amount will be decline in the future. The addition to this topic for keep the amount of water, the water quality and ecology needed for especially monitoring. So the collection of the water quality is very hard work, I understand. It's described by Miss Marie. I respect to the works of your much of contribution to collection of the water quality. It should be openly all the world for sharing the knowledge and status of present conditions as well as the the obtaining to the goals, what we have to set on in the future. So yes, what we can learn from the Yodo River is, I have some opinions. The first one is the historically switch the water resource from the groundwater to surface water. Why we can switch the water resource to the surface water is to treat very much for the surface water before discharge from our activities. So this importance is give a hint to the water reuse again for keep the water environment. So that's one of importance from the land, from the Yodo River activity. One more importance to the reuse the water in the several purpose of the water usage in Yodo River. I understand the 5 times repeat reuse the water in this basin. So to save the water in the environment, we can minimize of our contribution, our side to water resource. That's one of the idea for reduce amount for the usage of the water, I think. So yeah, that's all my comment. So it should be more discussed in this complex and complicated issues in the World Lake Water Conference. So I hope to discuss more in the conference. Thank you very much for the time for me.
Thank you very much, Keisuke. Thank you very much for all of the speakers and audience. What we will have to do quite a lot. But one thing is for sure, if we knew through this conference, perhaps taking place about 30, 40 years ago, we would have done quite differently about management of Lake Biwa Yodo River. But we can also make use of this experience, lessons learned, to make sure that what we have experienced would be put to best use elsewhere. And we have to contribute in collaboration to make that happen. That is already taking place, but Kanako was talking about, or Mr. Kaji was talking about. But in broad sense, World Lake Conference, we have quite a few overseas participants coming, and the suggestions were made about different fora, different networks that can help accelerate this movement to retrospectively make best use of our experience in a prospective manner. And that's the only way that we can approach to what we call sustainability. And it's a long-term plan, long-term challenge, but I think we are in the right direction. Again, if you could leave us with comments, questions, ILEC Secretariat would put together the output of this webinar and share widely towards the Brisbane Conference, and also combined with Brisbane Conference towards the next challenges years ahead. Again, thank you very much for all of you, and I think we came to a very successful conclusion. Sorry about the extension of our time, about 25 minutes, but I think it was very much worth it. Do we have anything left, Secretariat,
Yeah,
please?
before we close, we would like to take a group photo with all our panelists and for all the speakers, could you turn on your camera on? Turn on your camera, please. So you, okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'll count on 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, say cheese.
Thank you. Cheese.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today. And we hope to see you all at the World Lake Conference in Brisbane. And thank you again. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very